Fighting all the bosses on ARK can seem very challenging, which is why I created this guide to teach you everything that you need to know about each and every boss on ARK. This video is sponsored by Mitra 9. Mitra 9 is a kava and kratom seltzer company which provides an alternative to alcohol. These drinks give you a high, but without the impairment. They have a ton of great flavors, my favorite being tropical. Simply go to mitra9.com and use my code OUTCAST and you will get 25% off your entire order. If you're looking for a great alternative to coffee or just a way to get you going in the morning, Mitra is definitely the way to go. Now, back to the video. First up, let's begin with the Broodmother. The Broodmother was the first boss added to ARK. This massive spider can be found on most maps. The list to fight the boss will be found on screen now. The easiest ways to fight the Broodmother is using 19 Rexes and 1 UD to buff the Rexes. Simply aggro them all onto the Broodmother and then you're set. Another method for solos is to use a Procoptodon and to jump onto this ledge on the island, then use shotguns to kill him. I highly recommend doing this with more people as you will kill him much faster on that ledge. Next up we have the Megapithecus. This giant monkey can also be found on the island and on most maps. Here's the list for what you need to fight him. It's the exact same method to fight the monkey. Just use 19 Rexes and 1 UD and then you're set. There really just isn't a shotgun method for him, so just don't go down that route. Next up on our list we have the Dragon. The Dragon is the hardest of the three for two reasons: lava and fire breath. The list is on screen now. The Rex's AI are kinda dumb and will just fall into the lava, so you will need to watch your Rexes. It's the same method, just use 19 Rexes and 1 UD for the buff. The fire breathing will kill your Rexes very fast, so make sure that you have good saddles to absorb the damage. When the dragon flies up into the air, I recommend using shotguns to damage him until he comes back down. The final boss for the island is the Overseer. The Overseer isn't really that hard, however it's very time consuming. To fight the Overseer, here is the list and the coords of where to go. First, you will need to clear out the entire cave. I recommend using a charge for this as they are insanely overpowered. After that, bring 10 Theries and 1 UD. You can use Rexes, but the Theries aren't as dumb and will actually follow you properly. And this cave is important as if the dinos fall off the side, they are dead. Once you reach the terminal, start the fight and make sure that you have a jetpack. Then have one person on a UD and you can fly around with a shotgun and then just kill the random mobs that spawn in. Now it's just a waiting game, just make sure that your dino of choice has good saddles and is fully leveled. Up next we have the Manticore. The Manticore's main fight can be found on Scorched Earth. I honestly hate the Manticore fight as it's annoying just to fight. This can be found at any OB, and here is the list of items that you will need for the boss fight. I recommend 19 Rexes and 1 UD as it's the easiest thing to get for most fights on ARK. Just bring a shotgun as the Manticore loves to fly up in the air a lot. As long as you give it time, this fight should be pretty easy. It's similar to the Dragon, just except the Manticore shoots spikes at you, so just watch out for those. Moving over to Aberration, we have Rockwell. Rockwell is one of the easiest fights as long as you have 3 to 6 players. Here's the list of items that you need as well as the coords of where to find the boss terminal. The easiest ways to defeat Rockwell is using good shotguns and cactus broth. One person will need to have a jetpack and will fly around shooting the tentacles while the other players will wait in the bottom portion of the arena waiting for Rockwell to get into his weakness state. Simply keep doing this and it's a very easy fight. The cactus broth is used to make sure that the random dinos don't aggro onto you. Also, don't forget to bring a light pet so that the nameless and reapers won't mess with you. It's a very easy fight as long as you do it right. And now let's go over to Extinction. Extinction has one of the hardest boss fights being the King Titan. The King Titan can be found here, and then here's the list of what you need to summon him. I recommend using a Mega Mech, which requires you to kill the Gamma King Titan first. To do this, get an Ice or Desert Titan and a good amount of Gigas, but those are optional. The final King Titan fight is very difficult, but that's where the Mega Mech comes in. You will need an item that drops from the Gamma Titan and 4 mechs to create a Mega Mech. Summon the mech at the beginning of the fight and you can use whatever other dinos that you want to kill them. The Mega Mech is honestly all that you need, just getting to this point is an absolute pain as you first have to get a Titan and then defeat the King Titan 2 times. Up next we have the Crystal Wyvern Queen. The Queen can be found on Crystal Isles and it's a pretty simple fight to do. Here is the list of items that you need and the boss can be found at the OBS. You will need 8 to 10 Rexes as well as a Dinuchus or Furry Raptor. When the fight begins, wait until the Rexes take aggro on the Queen and then go behind the Queen and then just start biting. The Wyvern Queen won't be able to attack you when you get under it. Just keep doing this and you're good as it's a very simple fight to do. Moving over to Lost Island, we have the Dinopithecus King. This can be found at the OBS and here is the list for the items that you need to start the fight. I recommend using 19 Rexes and 1 UD. Take the Rexes into the cave section of the fight and then go and aggro the boss. Doing this ensures that all of the Rexes stay in this little area, allowing for the most damage done as well as the king won't move as much. Another method is with a Maywing. Go up to this ledge and you can shotgun the king from high up. Being on this ceiling ledge makes it so that the minions can't hit you, allowing for a pretty easy boss fight. Now moving over to Genesis Part 1, we have Motor. The items needed can be found on screen, as well as the location on where to fight him. Motor is a weird but easy fight. All you really need is 10 to 15 Megalodons and good saddles. They need to be mate boosted or they would die much faster. Now when the fight begins, there will be a tornado. Don't freak out as all the sharks will go crazy, turning into a Sharknado. They will survive this and then the fight will be pretty easy from then on. It's not too hard to do of a fight, just be careful how you're doing it. And coming over to Fjordur, we have Fenrir. He can be found at the terminals, and this is the list that you need to begin the boss fight. The easiest way to fight him is with 19 Rexes and 1 Yudi. Be careful about the freezing effects that he does, but other than that, it's honestly a pretty simple fight. Up next, we have the Corrupted Master Controller. This can be found under the mission, The Final Test. You can activate this mission at the terminals. This is the final boss fight on Genesis Part 1. You can do this with whatever dinos that you want, but I suggest the 19 Rexes and 1 Yudi again, as it's just super easy to get. The fight consists of 4 levels of collecting keycards. These can be taken from killing the avatars and the dinos around you. You will need to deposit them into a terminal to complete the levels. Once done, you will face the Master Controller. You will be able to damage him, and it's a decently easy fight. It's not hard, but it's not easy. The final boss fight is the Genesis Part 2 Rockwell boss fight. This is the final fight in ARK, so if you don't want me to spoil this for you, stop watching or just skip ahead. The terminal can be found here, and this is the list of what is required. I recommend using 1 Yudi and 19 Shadow Mains. Good Shadow Mains will make this fight a piece of cake. The first level is the Tentacles, just whistle aggressive and then they will take care of them for you. After that, the Exomech will unlock in the middle and you will be able to use that to take down one of the 4 nodes. Now you'll need to make sure that your Shadow Mains kill the survivors as they do a crazy amount of damage. These randomly spawn, so just keep an eye out for them. Now you will need to repeat this until all 4 nodes are killed. This is very laggy, but if your computer can handle it, it should be fine. After that's done, it's time to damage Rockwell. Send in your Shadow Mains when the dialogue is complete, and then just survive. This is tricky to do, but just keep running around on your Yudi and you should honestly be fine. Now for the final step, get onto the Exomech and fire at Rockwell to end the fight. It's a fun, but very lag-inducing fight. And now that you know how to defeat the main bosses, let's go over the in-world bosses. First up, we have the 3 Titans. These can be found on Extinction, and here are the cords for each one of the terminals. To summon them, you will need these items. Let's start with the Desert Titan. To tame it, you will need to fly around and get lightning to strike the corrupted zones. Just rinse and repeat this until he is unconscious. Once this is done, you can press E and then tame him. If you want to kill him, you need manas and just flyers. It's annoying to kill, so I recommend killing the other Titans instead. Next is the Ice Titan. To tame him, it's similar except you will need a mech. Simply shoot the corrupted parts and then you can walk up and then press E, allowing you to tame him. To kill the Ice Titan, I recommend Gigas and manas. Just keep fighting until he is dead. The third Titan is the Forest Titan. It's the same method as the Ice Titan, just shoot the corrupted nodes until he falls, allowing you to tame him. To kill the Forest Titan, it's the same method as the Ice Titan, just use Gigas and manas and he should die relatively fast. Now let's go over the 3 in-world bosses on Fjordur. Bela can be found on screen now, and here's what you need to start the fight. I recommend Theres and 1 Yudi. It's the easiest out of the 3 to do. Haiti and Skrull are located on screen now, and here's what you need to summon them. I recommend the same Theres and Yudi, and these guys are a little bit harder but still pretty easy to do. Steinborn is the 3rd boss and can be found on screen now. This fight requires this. To do the fight, I recommend 3 Gigas. The Gigas can kill him pretty quickly and overall isn't a hard fight. Just don't bring Rexes as it will be impossible to kill him. The Ice Queen and Lava Golem can be found on Ragnarok and are the easiest in-world bosses to kill in my opinion. They also reward you super well. They can be found on screen now and they do not require anything to summon them. The Ice Queen is simple. Just follow the cave and bring a nice shotgun and it should be pretty easy. The loot is crazy, giving you 5 to 6 red drops. The Lava Golem is a little bit harder but rewards you a lot better. Follow this cave and you can fight him with a Velo or rockets. Just sit on the top ledge and it's a pretty easy fight. He will reward you with an inventory full of BPs as well as 5 to 6 red drops. Just know that the more people that you bring to these fights, the harder that they will be. That's it for all of the bosses on ARK. I hope this video was able to help you in some way. Don't forget to check out my sponsor Mitra9, and thanks for watching.